Hello, my name is Aaron Tan. So today I'm going to present my English 101 topics for my monster research. So this my topics. Why zombie represent burnout, pandemic panic, and the breakdown of modern society. For the introduction, as long as the monster among us, zombie representing the real world issue like burnout, emotional numbness, and the society collapse is also representing the dehumanized effects such as overwork for the consumerism and broken system. So down there is my argument. Zombie story act as metaphors for the emotional and the society problem that we face today. I'm sorry for my language because English is my second language, so sorry about that once again. For my thesis statement, I use like some references such as Matthew Bailey, Donald Hoffman, and Adrian Glasgow for the for my paper. So it's also representing the disease like the society, how our emotional brought about by the burnout, dehumanization, and the capitalist society. Also, and the fear of the system failure. Let's jump down to my first thesis statement. So my first statement, zombie as a stranger of consumption. So I used the sources by Matthew Bailey. There's his quote down there. So the explanation of this quote and how I use it is down after that by Romeo is representing the consumer culture using by zombies. Zombies return to the more out of habits, not need. And also that's all representing the deadly meaning of the capitalist society right today. How it represents the emotional and the social dehumanization. Let's jump down to my second statement. This statement I use the sources by Donald Hoffman and it's about the burnout and loss of personhood. So this is the sources and the quote. Some do not just terrify us because they are strange, but because they remind us of ourselves. They expose the darkness we create inside. Our captors of for funness, cultures, for becoming less than human. And here's my explanation. In his article, the author argues that monsters represent internal fears, not just external things. So down there will be this is my second explanation. High stress stop jobs, especially I think in the pandemic, right in COVID-19 or after COVID-19 nowadays, it's led many to feel like the walking dead for me. The emotionals became the survival mechanisms and overwhelmed the workers that I thought. And the other helped us to see zombies not as fancy stuff, a horrible stuff, or a darkness stuff. The deep meaning is become through the exhaustion, not evil. Also, zombie is represent becoming the critique of overwork and emotional disconnection. So the third statement from the references I decided to use Andrew Gasco article. So in his quote, zombies are figures through which we explore our instances about systemic collapse when infrastructure government of public health fails, we are left to survive on our own. So for the explanation, Zombie reflection mirror modern examples about the government failure, how they face the pandemic, and social illness nowadays. Society is a figure. It's kind of like zombies outbreak, refreshing that fear. And also it represent the after the pandemic and the actual collapse for the anxieties. For my own personal things, I think from the evidence you can see, I mentioned that Night of the Living Dead, 1968, that's a movie. The emotion just one ingested, and also it's bring up the black female stuff during the civil rights era and the reserved persons and the victim races into the display. So for my explanation, this all examples is representing is linked with zombies and see how it's work, and this all is my explanation. Let's jump down to this one. The zombie within us. The most chilling part of zombie is that actually they represent ourselves. Right today, many people already live like the undead emotional form. So tired, overworked, burnout, going to be emotional. And for the things, it's also called that ourselves are becoming emotionally dead. Just like a zombie, we don't have emotional anymore. We just keep working like a machine. The same just like zombie. And the modern example of zombie feces, just like the Train to Benson, The Last of Us, and 28 Days Later, is still expression the deep set fear about the social collapse. Especially 28 Days Later, it also show us how the modern and the law distinguish. They are not just about contaction. They are show the emotional collapse, families defined, and other things like this. Also the pandemics and the things that also is linked with what I bring out. It's about the burnout and the things that represent zombies, just like the capitalism's society and all these things. For the last point that I want to bring out is zombie as a cultural things are so powerful because they are this tell our most fears, just like the consumer issue, burnout, the societal collapse into the hard stopping that represent. In my conclusion, that is my final thought. Zombie ensured us that to stay human, we must rest and how they represent us in nowadays. And also for my central argument is while zombies appear to the very fun, it is innate powerful cultural commentary reflecting the real emotional and the society problem. So the most key one is throughout the essay and this presentation that I'm over timing right now. I'm so sorry guys. Zombies have shown the dehumanized effect to us, just like how Matthew Bailey showed the consumptions, how Hartman, Donald Hartman article link with zombies monster to burnout, and how Adrian Glasgow representing the illusion of collapse, and the recent media like some movies, how they represent the modern issue right now. So this is my references. And thank you guys.